Hi folks, welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch. Another warm one, but they're saying that we've only got a couple more days of this hot heat and then we'll catch a break maybe this weekend and next week. So looking forward to that because it's been sultry this week. And that's downplaying it a little bit. Wanted to announce, it's not my deal, but I thought I'd put it out there because there's a lot of you that live in the Ozark region. Don't forget that Friday and Saturday in Marshfield, Missouri, there's a big homesteading expo. This is not one that I put on, but it's a big one and it's really good. The people that put it on are good. There's going to be a lot of big names there. We are planning on going tomorrow if all goes well. Not setting up a booth this time. I've done it in the past where we set up a booth and I don't know. It's got its pros and cons, but I think this time we're just going to be walking around like everybody else. But if you're wanting to, find out more homestead kind of stuff and gardens and animals and buildings and all that kind of stuff, it'll be there. Pretty good show. Hundreds and hundreds of people will be there. So that's tomorrow and Saturday in Marshfield, Missouri. Ozarks Homesteading Expo. You can look it up online and figure out. I don't know how much it costs to get in. I can't remember, but it's worth it. Well, Bricks is just shaking it up still. Announced this morning that they would be accepting 6 new nations. Oh, I got a spider attached there. There you go. All right. They'd be accepting 6 new nations that they would become full members as of January 1st, 2024. And the 6 that they are accepting are all predominantly Middle Eastern countries. Oil-producing countries, which means that Bricks will have like the top 6 out of 8 or top 8 out of 10 oil-producing nations on this planet will be part of Bricks. Now, why that's significant is that Bricks has already announced that they're agreeing that they will do trade amongst themselves in currencies that aren't the United States dollar. So you've got the largest, biggest oil-producing countries all doing trade outside of the U.S. dollar. And, well, a big portion of the U.S. dollar's value, it's why people use it is because it's the Petrodollar. So basically, it's going to boil down to is the U.S. is no longer going to be the petrodollar before too long. That's a pretty significant thing. That's going to, over time, affect the U.S. dollar's value. For those of you that think that I'm saying that means tomorrow the U.S. dollar will crash, that is not what I'm saying. Every time I say something kind of about that it's going to happen, well, it didn't happen yesterday. I'll let you know tomorrow if it happens, so that show that you're wrong. I didn't say it's happening tomorrow, but it is happening. And that's part of this modern, mindset, is that if it doesn't happen within 24 hours to a week, then it's not that important. It's like we have no concept of long-term planning and, long-term what's going to happen in 6 months, a year, 2 years. It's just whatever's going on right now in my life, that's all I'm paying attention to. We can't be that way as preppers. We have to be playing the long game also. The enemy's playing the long game, whether it's the globalists or whatever. They're playing the long game. If we're not playing the long game too, and we're not prepping and planning for what's going to happen in 6 months or a year or 5 years or 10 years, then, well, we're going to be hurting. So don't get caught up in that mindset. Well, if it doesn't happen real quick, then, it doesn't matter. So we've got a lot of stuff going on there. I did want to talk to you about something completely different, because it's a walk and talk, and usually just a different kind of subject. I have noticed over time on, excuse me, I got out here, there's something out here that's affecting my nose. I got out here, as soon as I walked into the woods, I started sneezing my head off. So now, you know what happens when you sneeze multiple times, you kind of have this little in the back of your throat and everything. So I apologize. I'm not sick or anything, and this is not normal to happen for me, but as soon as I got into the woods, my goodness, it was just before I started recording, I'm sneezing my head off. But anyways, I have seen it quite a bit recently in the comments and stuff online, that there's this implication that for you to survive, this implication for you to protect yourself, to defend, whether it's your family or your homestead or your community or just your freedom, this implication for you to be able to, you know, grow food, survive, take care of things, that you have to be an expert. If you're not an expert, you're going to die. I mean, that's the general implication. Oh, you're not that high speed. Well, you just better stay home. If you're not super high speed and super high speed gear and super high speed training, and when I say high speed, I'm not just talking about guns and stuff. I'm talking about anything. Oh, you didn't go to this wilderness survival school? Oh, you don't have decades of experience living off grid? Oh, yeah, sorry, you're not going to make it. That is absolutely not true. In fact, in every scenario that I can think of, whether it's, you know, being a Minuteman defending your home, your area, your community, or just going out in the woods and surviving, or just making it through a disastrous time period, history has shown that your level of expertise isn't always a big factor. I mean, it is a factor, but it's certainly not the only factor. I mean, take for instance the early mountain men, and then going into the pioneer homestead era of this nation. Most of the people that went west, and there was nothing out there. There was no safety net. There was no resources. There was nothing. It was rugged wilderness. Most of them had no experience whatsoever. They were shopkeepers from the east. They, you know, were blacksmiths and, you know, things like that. And they came out west, and yeah, some of them died, but a lot of them survived. And it wasn't because they had all the cool high-speed equipment or because they had, you know, years and years of professional government training or anything like that. They survived because they had grit and they had determination. And they knew that they had to. Like, they knew if they didn't survive, they're going to die. And so, no matter what it took, they made sure that they would survive. And that's determination. And it had nothing to do with the highest quality equipment available, or a good supply chain, or a big, you know, stockpile of supplies, or even, like I said, lots and lots of training. They just did it. It's the same way when it comes to defense combat. How many wars have been fought on this planet by civilian farmers, shopkeepers, and stuff that had little to no, you know, military training, and they actually either did really well or they defeated, you know, won out against professionally trained soldiers. I mean, you don't even have to go that far back in history. Look at what's, you know, happened in Afghanistan for 20 years. The most highly trained, best equipped soldiers on the planet were struggling against folks that had not just no training, but hardly any kind of education. I mean, period. Couldn't read or write, tie their shoes, do anything like that. They were using 50 to 100-year-old equipment. I mean, don't discount the farmer, citizen, soldier. Civil War, same story. Revolutionary War, same story. Over and over again, history has shown that men that just are determined to defend their family and their homeland can do quite a bit, even against a highly trained and highly equipped force. So this concept that you can't be a successful, surviving prepper, homesteader, whatever, if you don't have the very, very best, and if you don't have immense amount of government issued training, then you're not going to make it. That's ridiculous. You can train yourself and study and develop skills on your own. And we live in the information era where pretty much everything that you would go to college to learn, you can learn for free online. If you're determined to do it, you don't have to come from some specialized unit to know how to come out here several times a week and, you know, walk up and down these hills with equipment on for several miles. Know how to do that. You can do that on your own. You don't have to be properly and professionally trained to know how to grow your food and preserve it, can it, all that kind of stuff. That's just ridiculous. It doesn't have to be that way. If I had my choice, if I was putting together a team of people to survive, and I'm not talking just a team of riflemen, I'm talking about people, families, and I had the choice of picking people that were professionally trained versus people that were very determined. They were determined to ride or die, you know, that kind of mentality, that they were going to make it no matter what, and that they were willing to learn, and that they had grit, and just, they were tough as nails. I'd probably choose the latter, because my experience has shown that professional training and all the high-speed gear only gets you so far in life. Most of the time, it's only truly beneficial if you have a large supply chain to back it all up. It's true. I'm not discounting any of you folks that have that professional training in whatever area it is. Please don't think that. I'm just saying, if that alone is what you're dependent upon, then you have a hole in your plan. You need to be out there developing more skills. Maybe you are a professional rifleman. Maybe you're a professional medical person. Do you know how to grow your own food to feed your family? You know, there's so many variables. You know how to repair things when they break. Do you know how to tend to the animals? This is important. And we can't allow naysayers to bring us down because, oh, you're not high speed enough. You're just this old lady that only knows how to grow food and only knows how to, harvest herbs and make herbal medicine and heal wounds. But you don't know how to take a, belt fed out in there and I see that often. We got to stop it because it means nothing. It's not about your high quality, high speed training. It's about your mindset and your determination. I personally know older folks, and I'm not picking on the elderly. I'm halfway there, so there's some days I feel I'm all the way there. I'm not picking on you. I'm using you as a shining example. I know some people in my life that are twice my age, and they may not be able to come out here and do what I'm doing right now. They may not be really good at, all the cool tactical stuff. Their skills are different in different areas, but you know what matters the most is their determination. Their determination to not die, their determination to make it, no matter what. No matter what. The determination to sacrifice themselves so that others could potentially live. People that are willing to do that. I've been told that. I've had many conversations with lots and lots of people. So many times the people that on the surface look like, well, they don't have all these really cool skill sets that most in the prepper homestead world would just love to have. But yet when you talk to them, it's quite clear that they're willing to go to the very last to survive and to protect those that are trying to survive around them. And in my book, that's equally, if not more, important. So anyways, for those of you that kind of think that, you know, only the coolest and the high speed are going to make it, you're probably going to find yourself sadly mistaken. There are hillbillies. I live in the Ozarks. Most of you know that there's lots of hillbillies around here. Not putting them down either. A lot of them prefer to be referred to as mountain people. A lot of them, I know, little to no education, almost no professional training. You know, they're not running around with brand new this and brand new that and high-tech this and stuff that their granddads gave them. I'd put them up against anyone any day of the week because they're tough and they know how to do what they need to do and they're not afraid to do it. And don't let your lack of skills determine, you know, if you're going to survive. You can develop those skills, and you should be. I'm not saying this so that it gives you an excuse to not try to develop skills. You should be. But don't base all of your survival strengths just on skills. What matters is up here and in here. And it needs to be hard. It needs to be ready as the times are changing fast. You need to get your houses in order and prepare yourselves mentally, physically, and spiritually. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next video.